Hello and welcome to the Telegraph Studio and Business Reporter's Future of Mobile campaign, hosted by the Telegraph Online. I'm Alistair Greener and today I'm talking to Amer Abedi from RemitONE. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we understand there's a lot of challenges for businesses when it comes to money transfers. Tell us about some of them.
The biggest challenge in the industry, I would say, is technology, lack of technology adoption. So this is a very big industry. It's a very old industry. It's really good that now the industry has realized the value of technology. They want to make most of technology to offer an amazing service to all the stakeholders in the industry. And by stakeholders in the industry, I'm referring to regulators, to banks, to money transfer operators, and of course the customers. De-risking is a big issue in the industry. We appreciate de-risking. Banks have to do their de-risking, of course, because we want to make sure that all transactions are done in a secure, compliant, transparent manner. In order to do that, you need to have compliance. You need to have emphasis on compliance. This is where technology, again, plays an important role in ensuring that all the MTOs and banks operating in the industry are adhering to compliance rules and procedures. This also impacts operational efficiency because, again, technology automation empowers efficiency. It eliminates laborious tasks, manual tasks, it eliminates them, makes sure that data is accurately stored. It improves operational efficiencies in businesses in this industry. And finally, customer service, because if you have all the compliance procedures in place, if you have all the operational efficiencies sorted out, then this means that you can offer an enhanced customer service to your customers. And it also means that customers are able to send money back home at reasonable, cost-effective prices, which means that more money ends up in the undeveloped world, in the pockets of the beneficiaries, which helps them to climb the financial ladder, which is what World Bank wants us to do anyways, and we are helping to facilitate that.
You talked there about the operational difficulties of compliance, but what's driving that? Is it coming from the heavy administrative burden of compliance, or is it coming from the inherent inefficiencies of the businesses themselves?
Good question. I think it's a mixture of both. I think from a bank's perspective, they have to adhere to AML guidelines, CFT rules. They have to prevent, they have to focus on compliance, they have to focus on regulation. We totally get that. If you look at a bank's structure, banks use many, many different types of technologies. All these technologies have to constantly be in sync at all times. If they make change to one particular software system, they have to make changes to other systems linked to this software system. So it has consequences. And this is a big administrative burden for the bank, which is the reason why banks have historically used archaic or legacy systems to run their money transfer operations. But what we're saying is there is this very simple solution out there. Technology adoption. If you adopt technology, technology will give the banks this visibility on transactions. Technology will enforce compliance at all times. It'll ensure that everything is done in a secure way. It will give a sense of relief to the banks. And the banks need to realize that the solution is so simple. It is out there, it can be implemented within days because you're using the most sophisticated technology out there to empower your business. All the industry stakeholders can benefit with this. And by industry stakeholders, I'm referring to everyone from the remitter who sends money through the MTO, the entity that's providing this service to the customer, down to the beneficiary who receives money. And it helps the beneficiary climb onto the financial ladder with the ultimate aim of eliminating poverty.
Okay, so I get the concept of what you're talking about, but could you be a little bit more specific about these challenges? And also, what's the difference between the challenges for the banks and the challenges for the MTOs, MFIs and telcos?
Sure. Banks are struggling to scale up their business because the systems that they're using are not designed to scale up. They're not designed to support a money transfer operation. They're not designed to reach out to customers through multiple channels. This is the challenge typically that a bank faces. MTOs are of different types. You have small MTOs and large MTOs. Small MTOs are just facing simply the challenge of just getting licensed and bank accounted to operate their business. That's the biggest challenge they're facing. Larger MTOs, they struggle with scalability. They have historically used in-house, inbuilt software systems which are not designed to scale. They're not robust. They cannot cope with these increasing number of transaction volumes. So they need a very reliable and scalable infrastructure. They need a compliant system. The systems that the large MTOs have historically used, they're not looked upon favorably by the regulators. So they need proven compliant systems that are robust and that can scale. And again, that can reach out to multiple customers via multiple channels. Then you have MFIs, microfinance institutions, you have telcos, you have alternative remittance service providers who are also entering the landscape. Most of the innovation is happening in receiving markets, in Asia, in Africa, and Latin America, because the need is there for people to get banked, for financial inclusion and so on and so forth. And that's why we see a lot of innovation happening there. But I think the banks over here, the large MTOs in sending countries like UK, Europe, North America, and Australia are also waking up to the fact that they need to change their mindset. And that's happening. We're seeing that.
Let's broaden our horizon a little bit, because one of the things we know is when it comes to money transfers, we're dealing on a global scale. But of course, every country has its own legal, its own financial burdens. So how does this all work when it comes to that?
It's a very complex scenario. Yes, there are multiple corridors, and by corridor I mean one country to another country. Sending money from, let's say, UK to Ghana, that's a single corridor. So we have multiple corridors here. Each country has its own set of rules. We're dealing with various velocity limits of how many times a person can send money, for example. How much can a person receive in a month? There are different sets of rules. However, it all comes down to technology again. Technology makes it possible for all the industry stakeholders to operate efficiently. All you have to do is enter some rules, enter the limits. For example, in the UK, if you want to send over £650 to anywhere outside of the UK, you have to do A, B, C, D, E. Okay, you simply enter these rules, and the technology will ensure the enforcement of those rules, regardless of what channel the end user takes to send money. So I can use my cell phone to send money to my mom in India, for example, or I can go to an online portal and send money to my brother in Ghana, or I can go to a self-service kiosk at the nearest 7-Eleven or Tesco and send money to my cousin in Pakistan. So regardless of where I'm sending money, the technology will ensure that all the rules are being adhered to, all the transactions are being screened, all the KYC due diligence, enhanced due diligence is being enforced and checked. So all transactions are legal. They're in the formal landscape. They're not going underground through shadow markets.
Okay, so let's say I agree with what you're saying and I come to RemitONE for your help. How's it all going to work?
So RemitONE offers a range of services and business technology solutions to the industry. These solutions are out there. They are there, they're designed to help money transfer companies and banks in the industry. For example, we can help agents go digital, because there are lots of agents out there in the industry, they're offline. And because the regulators are forcing everyone to go digital, these agents might go out of business. But we have solutions to empower these agents to stay profitable, to still generate revenue as they transition from offline to online. We can help. So such solutions exist in the market. Bank accounts are being shut down left, right, and center everywhere around the world, especially in the sending markets. And there are alternative solutions to bank accounts out there. RemitONE provides such solutions. RemitONE has its own ecosystem of supply chain members. We work with a number of banks. We integrate with a number of banks, a number of money transfer companies, a number of telecoms operators, a number of payment gateways, a number of SMS gateways. So we bring them all together under the RemitONE umbrella. It's one ecosystem. You come to us and you gain access to this ecosystem. The industry stakeholders, i.e. the supply chain members, which includes the banks, the money transfer companies, they need to have the right approach to adopt the right technology so that they can offer a range of services to their customers at competitive rates, at affordable rates. We want to assure our public, our audience, that there are solutions out there, there's hope in the industry, there are many options to choose from. You just have to look in the right direction.
Well, in an ever increasingly globally focused world, it's really important that we're able to transfer money efficiently, easily, and inexpensively. So it's been fascinating finding out more about these changes. Amer Abedi from RemitONE, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.